Hello, 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 Irregular Nation, and welcome to another episode with the Irregular Neil. Okay, and on this episode, we're gonna dive in to the DC animated universe because if there's one thing DC always, in my mind, knocks it out of the park with, is their animated stuff, whether it be their series or their movies. It all started back in '92 when they had Batman the Animated Series come out. Now I'm 38, soon to be 39, and I remember seeing that. I mean, the intro to that show to this day, you can watch that freaking thing over and over again and just still be like, oh my god, this is great. And that is what they used to actually pitch the show, was that beginning. Um, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I'm correct. And then you got Superman the animated series that was also tied into that. So they actually used to do. They actually did great continuity when it came to their animated series. So you got Batman the animated series, then you had Superman the animated series, then you had Justice League the animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, and they were all tied. And they even tied Batman Beyond, and they did this thing where Batman, Wonder Woman, and I believe it was Green Lantern, that John Stewart, of course, that went into they went into the multiverse and they actually traveled through and they end up in the Batman Beyond timeline, and Batman meets old Bruce Wayne. It's really good. So everything had a tie. I mean, even in the Batman Beyond series, I remember when he meets the future Superman and the Justice League, and oh, I mean, that's why I'm a big fan of animation, because if there's one thing that you can do with animation is you can expand and do anything you really want. And that's the difference between that and the movies, because budget-wise, you can't always do all this with live action. It's tough. It really is tough. And then what was great is they actually had movies that spun off from their series. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, really good one. Check that out. Then you had all the Superman movies. You had the Superman Batman team up, Superman Batman Public Enemies. Batman Beyond got a movie called Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and Mark Hamill came back and reprised his role for that. Jesus, I mean, fuck, I can go on when it comes to a lot of those movies. You had the Justice League Doom, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, I believe that was called. Another good one, and that explored the multiverse. For anybody that doesn't really know much about that, go check that one out. Then they brought it into Flashpoint in 2013, and that's what reset their animated universe and reset in the comics too, and it led to the New 52. That was a bit divisive, I guess, in the comic world. Just so people know, I'm not a huge comic book reader. I own a lot of comics, but I do my research just to make sure always that I'm not saying something I shouldn't, because I know you can get eaten alive when it comes to some of that stuff. But what they did with their animated world when it came to that, I loved it. And I'm a guy that likes to like everything in chronological order, because I like to see what the story is being told. I don't like to watch things all over the place. That drives me nuts. So like I said, I loved what all the movies were doing prior, but there wasn't really any connective tissue when it came to that. There were, like the couple Justice Leagues that came out, they were somewhat connected. But, I like something where you have a universe and they're tying it in and they're building up to something. I think that's cool. So, it started off with Flashpoint, and then they went into Justice League War. Then that was the introduction of Darkseid, and then they started the Darkseid Wars. If I said that correctly, I'm sorry if I didn't. I know I did. And then you had a couple. Excuse me, by the way. I've had a rough day when it comes to the stomach. It's okay though. And then so basically here, let me put it to you this way so people understand some of this, just in case you don't. Justice League War, Justice League Thorn of Atlantis, Then I believe it was Justice League versus the Teen Titans, Justice League Dark, the two Superman movies that they had in there, Death of Superman and then Reign of Superman. They were tying those in with some subtle, dark side things that were going on. And then you had all your movies in between. And then they were just building their characters. Now, look, not all of them were fantastic or like hands down the best, but what was cool about it was a connective universe, something that you weren't getting in live action. So yes, when Marvel was doing their thing for a long time and all the DC people were, crying that we don't have this, they don't have that, or taking shots at Zack Snyder because of what Snyder was trying to do, we still had this. And this is, like I always say, something that DC kicks ass in. And now that they've finally added this to HBO Max with Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, I don't think they have Superman the Animated Series on there, and they don't have either Justice League. So HBO Max, get your shit going. Let's go. You add that other stuff, add that. Let's go. I thought it was, so like as much as you'd like to see this, we all thought we were going to get that with Snyder. We got it with this. And then when it got to Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, I was a big fan. I was shocked at what they were doing, but at the same token, I'm like, are they writing a love letter to Zack Snyder or something? Because I mean, even some of the shows like The Boys, The Boys. That was pretty much like that one superhero kind of show that came out. They started going dark. Everybody started going dark, but Zack Snyder, like I always say, is a trendsetter. And when you're a trendsetter, you piss everybody off, and so that's just how that goes. And this guy was ahead of his time and had all this stuff figured out. So why I was kind of throwing that in there, where I was tying that into, was the way they were doing Superman in that. And that one scene where Superman's literally beating the living hell out of Darkseid, and he's doing that pounding of his face. And if anybody's ever seen Man of Steel, that's like the scene where he takes Zod and freaking beats him through the cornfield, because Lois is dead and he has nothing to live for anymore in Justice League Apocalypse War. You got so many good beats in that. Now, some people might not have liked it, but if you go back and you watch all these movies, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's just under 20 movies here to watch, and that can keep you busy. That, connect the universe. And Constantine, the City of Demons, and if anybody hasn't seen that, that's a nice little Constantine origin story. Of course, we all love the Keanu version, but I also felt that the Keanu version kind of fell a little short because they didn't really dive into the lore at all. They took it to where he was like near the end of his Constantine career. Why? Give us an origin on that. They got it. You need an origin story when it comes to Constantine. And you got that in the DC animated universe, and it was good. And it was rated R. So, hey, you can get some good hard R with animation, just to let everybody know. I can go on for like probably hours when it comes to this because animation's where it's at. But what they did do at the end of Justice League Dark Apocalypse War was they did another Flashpoint, which was cool. So the universe started off 2013 with Flash resetting the timeline. He then has to do it again because nobody won. They did not win. The Earth was done for. It was a morbid style type of movie. That's why it was just like, wow, Zack Snyder gets destroyed for doing stuff like that. Deconstructing and this and that. But if somebody else does it, it's okay. Okay, whatever. That's why I said it was kind of like a love letter, because they're like, you know what? This guy knows what he's doing. Yeah, follow this man's lead. Let him be in charge of the universe. But who knows? So where I'm going with that is now they launched a new style of animation for their DC slate of the animated movies. And honestly, Superman Man of Tomorrow, if I remember it was called, I watched it because it was added to HBO Max finally. And it fell flat. I didn't, Yeah, they put Lobo in there. Yes, you had, the alien, but it was like the Godzilla style alien. There just wasn't much depth to that movie, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, what is this? And the animation looked kind of cheap. If anybody ever watched the show Archer, it kind of reminded me of Archer, but I don't know. The way it looks, it's too bright. The the action, like, it doesn't seem like the action that you had prior with the style of animation they were doing with everything else before they reset this universe. It just doesn't go. Like, I can't see that kind of fighting that they had with everything else in this new style of animation that they're doing. And then they have a Justice Society movie coming out with that, and it's the same style that they use with the Man of Tomorrow. And I'm like, so a little disappointed when it comes to what they're doing with that. I feel that they were trying to take it in another direction because I think everybody wants light, happy, skip to your loo type of crap. No, I mean, comics are dark. When you read a comic and you dive into those stories, there's some serious tones to that crap. So when you sit there, and I hate when people say that that's not my Superman, or that's not my Wonder Woman, or that's not mine. Guess what? You got plenty of shit to watch. Pick one that you like, go watch it. Shut up. You don't need to sit there and say, "Oh, this is trash. Oh, this sucks." Hey, you think you can do better? Go make it yourself. But that ain't gonna happen. So listen. At the end of the day, animated universe is great. Kind of went a little sorry right there. It's not always easy trying to hold this on your own. Still learning. Still learning, but getting better. I would love for them to create a couple new series that come out, like maybe revisit Batman the Animated Series, see if they can do some kind of like spin-off with that, or even Superman the Animated Series. Just, they revive everything else. Why not try to revive one of those? I mean, because you don't have much going on with that. What they do is they just rehash all the old stuff. They bring it back in, which is great watching the old stuff, but we all need some fresh. So, anyway, that's my little rant, I guess you could say, when it comes to some of the stuff that's been going on, all DC. But I still do love the DC animated universe. I can always go back and watch all the things that I love. But hey, I do want to see some good new stuff too. But we'll see. Anyway, I want you to go hit that like, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the Irregular Nation. Why wouldn't you want to? Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. And I'll catch everybody later. Cheers.